morning and welcome to episode 2 join us online. Pat and I are Steve and others that are tuning in. We're glad you're with us this morning. You're in the house that we like to call it. That you're inspired, renewed, refreshed, reinvigorated at the same time. And I invite you to come join the family. This online experience so far, we're doing internet, how we're reaching out and touching people. We look forward to seeing you and hosting you today. Please enjoy these broadcasts. Please enjoy them much. And now, let's start.
Okay. Oh, yeah. And this is and you create disease by doing that's not magic, that's the only one really. Yeah. I mean, if you're 50 or more this time.
Good morning.
And then this.
Good morning.
And everyone was so nice, and I had a great time. Yes. It was so fun. It felt like a great time. It's like, there's times we spent a whole day together, we always stayed for a whole week, so it's like, literal together. It was so I know my dad will teach you every birthday. So you can do that too. Like, first time you do something like that. So yeah, that's great for you. His wife tried to so they're in Poland right now, supporting his family. So when they get back, I think y'all like we'll have plenty to talk about today. Listen, who is it that traveled the world? You know?
Oh, I didn't.
Retire early.
There you go. Yeah, well, don't get divorced twice.
Good morning, everyone. Hello.
Good morning.
My name is Christina Liguori. I'm glad to have Thom here providing music today. Yay!
Thank you.
And will everyone please stand while we sing the joy song, number 89, In the Garden.
Okay,
My mom's favorite hymn. You with me, Mom? I come to the garden alone, while the dew is still on the roses, and the voice I hear falling on my ear, the Son of God is closest, and He walks with me and He talks with me, and He tells me I am His own, and the joy we share and we carry there, none other has ever known. He's sweet and the sound of His voice is so sweet, the birds hush their singing, and the melody that He gave to me within my heart is ringing, and He walks with me and He talks with me, and He tells me I am His own, and the joy we share as we carry there, none other has ever known. I stay in the garden with Him, though the night around me be falling, but He bids me go to the voice of woe. His voice to me is calling, and He walks with me and He talks with me, and He tells me I am His own, and the joy we share as we carry there, none other has ever known. And He walks with me and He talks with me, and He tells me I am His own, and the joy we share as we carry there, none other has ever known. I come to the garden alone. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Thank you so much, Thom. Please be seated. If this is your first time here, would you please stand and tell us your name?
Well, my first time in 5 years. David Coleman.
I do.
Hey.
Thank you for being here.
First time, Ricardo Hernandez.
I'm sorry, can you say your first name again?
Ricardo Hernandez.
Hi, Ricardo. Thank you. Inside your bulletin, you'll find a prayer request form for any prayer requests you may have. You can drop them in the offering basket later, and they'll be put with the other prayer requests. Our own prayer team prays over them for a week, and so long as then after they're sent to Unity, where they're praying over for a month. Let's see. First announcement: next Sunday is potluck. We're once again scheduling a work day for Saturday, March 26th at 10 a.m. We'll meet at the church to do some interior painting. Pam is organizing it, and we should have everything we need here, including lunch. If you're planning to come, please sign the painting list under the bulletin board so she knows how many to expect. If you'd like to contact her, her email is also listed on that sign-up sheet. And once again, we are collecting dry food, toiletries, etc. to pass on to various groups in Boerne to help out those in need. There'll be a container by the front door each week where you can put in any donations. And Sunday morning there is a book discussion group. It's from 9:30 to 10:30 in the fellowship room. And the book currently being discussed is A More Beautiful World Our Heart Knows Is Possible by Charles Einstein. So come for coffee and tea and conversation. Let's see. if you're here for the first time or you're not getting the weekly emails, there's a weekly email sign-up sheet on the desk by the front door if you'd like to receive, put your name and email address, and you will be on the list for the monthly newsletter, the weekly announcements about upcoming Sunday service, and occasional reminders and special notes. And there's also several Zoom activities you're welcome to be a part of. There's a book study on What the Mystics Know that is held Sundays at 7 p.m. And there are 3 Course in Miracles groups. One is Monday at 7 p.m., one is Tuesday at 2 p.m., and those are both led by Bob Patterson. And then there's one Wednesday at 8 p.m., led by Reverend Jay. And then the Pathlighters is 8 p.m. on Thursday. And the login is in your order of service. And we will now hear the Daily Word read by Caron. Yay!
Thank you, Christina.
As we quietly and gently prepare for the reading of the Daily Word, we remember that we are in spirit with millions of Daily Word readers and churches throughout the world. The Christ candle is lit as a reminder of the Spirit of God within all of us, which we call the Christ within. The Daily Word, or the word for today, is light. The affirmation is, the light of truth dissolves all darkness. A bird's cheerful song interrupts the quiet of the night. The dark sky grows lighter and puffy clouds begin to glow with a beautiful shade of pink. Brilliant rays announce the sun's arrival. The sun peeks over the horizon, flooding the day with light. Light dissolves darkness in my consciousness in a similar way. At a challenging time, my heart responds to the hopeful thought that this too shall pass. Hope grows into faith as my mind opens to divine wisdom that is always mine to claim. Guided by the dawning light of truth, I see the way forward and follow it with confidence. As surely as each new day brings a sunrise, my faith assures me the light of truth will dissolve the darkness of any obstacles I may face. The scripture is from John 1:5. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not overcome it. And the affirmation is, the light of truth dissolves all darkness. My name is Caron DeMars. Thank you for worshiping with Unity of Boerne.
Thank you, Caron.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Well done.
Now, please stand for our congregational affirmation. In the infinity of life where I now stand, I recognize my profession as a beloved child of the Most High. I am refreshed and renewed as I release all thoughts, ideas, and feelings that no longer serve me. And I am remade as I remember who and whose I am. I stand fearlessly in the truth, and so it is. Please remain standing for the celebration song, number 160, Faith is the Victory.
I didn't remember ever having sung this one or heard this one before. I thought it was a good choice. So if you're not familiar, just listen to the first verse and join in on the second. Encamped along the hills of light, ye Christian soldiers rise, and let your songs of praise and joy be lifted to the sky. Know that the foe in veils below is not, for God is all. Faith is the victory we know that overcomes the world. Faith is the victory, faith is the victory. Oh, glorious victory that overcomes the world. His banner over us, His love, our sword, the word of God. Walking paths of righteousness when guided by His word. By faith, through words of faith and light, we won o'er every field. Faith in victory. of God fill every mind and dwell in peace today. Salvation's helmet on each head, with truth all girt about. The earth shall then be made anew, and joy reign in each heart. Faith is the victory, faith is the victory. Oh, glorious victory that overcomes the world.
And please remain standing for our opening prayer.
Unity
Learning, loving, spiritual community, provide a sacred space for personal growth. We honor and celebrate the Christ within all people.
Thank you so much. Please be seated. And I hope to see everyone at the potluck next week. It's a super enjoyable time. And with that, I'll turn it over to Reverend Jen.
Thank you, Christina.
Thank you.
As I say every Sunday, we're a praying church. Our lives are prayers, our thoughts are prayers. We know that. This morning, I'd like to take a little bit of what they call pastoral privilege and turn our service kind of upside down. We're seeing some very upsetting things in our world right now, halfway around the world. And during this time of prayer that we usually have, I'd like to take this opportunity for us to have our meditation specifically directed at individual and world peace, or what is happening specifically in Ukraine. So our meditation will be before the message for this Sunday, and I know that all of you join me in intentional love inside you, sending these folks the very best, and that they are guided, and so is the leadership guided to make right and perfect decisions. So if you have a prayer request right now that you haven't placed in the box, I'll wait. If not, Jim can bring that forward and we'll begin prayer and meditation. Thank you, Jim. Heavenly Presence, we come before you this morning with many things on our mind. Our individual lives, the things that are going on in our world, and the greater world around us. We know that your presence cannot flee from us for a moment. We know that you are the guiding principle that upholds us and blesses us. We know that you give us great power to choose in favor of love. We do that now. We hold in prayer all these requests that are represented in this box. We know you are the author of peace and not confusion, the author of love and not fear. We represent this today. We stand tall in who we are. We give thanks that we're able to stand in the truth of our being. And so it is. Amen. Together, let's take a deep breath or two. Maybe our hands on our laps, our feet on the floor, being aware of where we are, and most importantly, who we are. We relax into our beingness right now. An infinite ocean of unconditional love that animates us, every cell, every fiber of our being resonates to this love, to this life force, whatever you call it. It is the truth of you and me and everyone who walks this earth. In our individual lives right now, we recognize the peace at the center. When we visualize the love that we are, making everything straight and perfect in our physical body. And we take abundantly of the healing that we need, whether it be mental, emotional, physical. Infinite presence withholds nothing from us. And so we release the blocks to love's presence, and we're aware of the bright and shining light that we are, right here, right now. We are integrated inside. We remember ourselves right now. We let go of all thoughts of judgment and disharmony. In this moment, recreated, blessed to be a blessing. A new feeling comes over us because we're at home right now inside. We're in the presence of the one who never leaves nor forsakes us, who holds our hand along the journey we walk. We're aware not only of our own internal areas that need healing, and this quickens us and sensitizes us to those areas outside of us that appear in disharmony, disarray, confusion, doubt, fear, the gamut of the lower emotions. As one person, we feel we can't always do what we like to do, but we forget how powerful we are. Not necessarily in the worldly sense, but in the sense of being the author of our own lives by our thoughts. And with love backing those thoughts, we now send that to those in Ukraine whose lives have been upended, who has suffered under the idea of a person who believes that you can truly choose up sides on a round planet, that there is a stark difference between people. Knowing that love is what binds us. We do bless the tie that binds us to those who are suffering right now. Our love, our peace, go out from us and uphold those who are experiencing the ravages of war. We declare right and perfect action is taking place. We are to call those things that are not seen as if they are. And we do that here and now. We see the light of truth guiding those who are in charge. We stand with those who affirm their freedom and independence, and especially in their hearts and minds. And those who are acting in a discordant way, we affirm that the truth is being revealed to them now. That darkness is never the way of peace. And the minute that the light is let in, all decisions, all conditions change. We stand with all the other people in this world right now who are thinking similar thoughts. Our love goes out and reaches into that thought pattern of love. And change is happening. We affirm it. There is no war in us. There is no conflict in us. Therefore, we can shine as pure, perfect love and light to those who need it. And we do right now. And then in the silence of the next few moments, we concentrate our love and our thoughts to where it is most needed right now. Loving infinite presence, we give thanks that we're able to take this moment of remembering who we are and remembering who those are who may be distanced from us in miles, but are close to us as sharing the oneness of the family on earth. Comfort them, protect them, guide them, enlighten them. To those who are choosing apparent discord, may it be revealed this never works and is never the way. Truth is the ground of our being, and that truth is love. This we affirm for ourselves and for our world. And we give thanks that we join a chorus of others praying right now around the world that your perfect will be done. And so it is. Amen.
And it is a time for us to think about our neighbors, brothers and sisters. There's a saying that genetically no two of us are more separate than 6 steps away from our genetic makeup. We're no more than 6 steps away from anyone else on this planet. And that, if that doesn't make me your brother, you're my sister, my brother. And I wouldn't know what this is all for, so I have to fall back on my faith. I think that's the message today. It's about faith, and we all know that that's an easy word to say. But it is perhaps the key to it all. I wonder what I would do if I was just brave enough to step up and hold on to that faith today. What would I do if I do? I could not fail. If I believe, would the wind always fill up my sail? How far would I go? What could I achieve? Trusting the hero in me. If I were brave, I'd walk through razor's edge, where fools and dreamers dare you and never lose faith, even when losing my way. What step would I take if I were brave? Would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What if we're all meant to do what we secretly dream? What would you and would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today if I were brave? What would I do today? Brave.
And after the meditation and that wonderful song, we realize we have declared our intention right now, which we do every Sunday by repeating what's on the board or in your bulletin. Will you join with me in saying, Unity of Boerne is a vibrant and loving spiritual community, providing a safe space for personal growth. We honor and celebrate Christ within all people. And we do. A good way to start this off. It feels lighter, it feels better. Meditation always does that. Maybe I'll start doing the meditation before the message. We'll see. How many of you liked it, by the way? Do it that way. Okay. Excuse me. This morning I'd like to speak about defining moments. Moments in our lives that bring us up short, and moments in our lives that give us joy, and all those in between. The moments pass, but we make them defined to us when we feel they're important to us. Birthdays, the first days we do something, the people we meet. Have you ever heard that the idea about when you meet someone, in the first 5 to 10 seconds, you make an impression that they're going to never forget? Psychologists call it the halo effect. Some people have said you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Why is that? I wondered that. And so I turned to the teachings of the ages and the psychologists and the wise guys. And what it is, it comes from the time that we were being chased around in the cave days by animals and things like that. We were on our guard right away. And even after all these years, where we don't have to necessarily take shelter from a wild animal, and we learned somewhat better, we still feel that feeling of being threatened when something new comes to us. You ever walked into a room and felt that? You see that your energy drops or it raises, but in that interim, at that point, you get to choose how you're going to feel about that. You know, largely, what you think that you're going to feel is what you're going to see outside yourself. That's how powerful creators we are, how very powerful creators we really are. And so this defining moment that I'm talking about this morning is not only meeting a situation or a person that's new, I'm talking about the moments that have been in your past and what you may expect, because those that were in the past are going to influence what you expect and ultimately what you get. Have you ever heard the idea that you are what you think? I mean, in Unity we teach that. And it's also in almost every self-help book. You are what you think, you become what you think about, change your thoughts, change your life. We're all familiar with that. So, in a moment, when you see something outside you, remember, first, you're seeing something inside you. Something is telling you, this is good, this is bad, I don't know yet, but it happens in a flash. And that's where we really pronounce judgment. We say afterwards, we may say, well, I didn't care for him, or I wasn't fond of her, or I like him, or I like her. Those are just words that are going outward about what we've already decided in a split second. Usually, that quickly. Our minds work fast. I mean, thoughts are lightning speed. And so this morning I want to challenge each one of us to think about those moments in our lives that we have hung our emotions on and that run us perhaps on autopilot. Get enough of those moments that I'm talking about and you build an idea of life. And you begin to understand that there are these folks that I'm not so comfortable with, and these folks I am comfortable with. It's called political parties, it's called committees, it's called groups. We tend to align with the energy that is predominant in us. That's why here at Unity and in other metaphysical New Thought churches, we know that there's no distance in thought. We believe that because we know these truths. That's why we can affirm things for the put upon people of the Ukraine and know that it will be done to us as we believe. The universal spirit, the moment that we lay claim to that and affirm the good, it's already on its way. And the moment that you lay claim to the good in your life, it is on its way to you. So long as you don't have 1,000 other thoughts that are denying the original thought that you want to see expressed in your life. It really comes down to moment by moment choice. We would like to think that we're creators at large, but if we don't like to think that we're creators thinking every moment, that's just too much responsibility. How do I man, or what's the word, you man the ship? And in this day and time, it's really, how does a person control their mind? How do you keep track of every single thought that you're thinking? You can't necessarily do it, so what do you have to have? You have to have a ground of being around you. And I say you have to recognize the ground of being around you and know that that is nothing but pure love and light. And that as you tune into it and you accept it and you believe it, it becomes true for you. If you deny it and you bring the egoic self to bear and all the negativity that you may feel you're also drawing from everybody who's ever thought the same thing, you are putting a circle of darkness around yourself. It appears to be that way, you're truly light, but you're thinking in a way that is lower vibrations and it feels dark, and it feels heavy. Judgment feels that way. That's why so many of us are told, give it up. Give up those judgments. Accept. Accept doesn't mean approval, condoning, liking, any of that. It just means saying, as Walter Cronkite said, that's the way it is. And then you step back and say, if that's the way it is, what can I add to the situation that will raise it, if not for everyone, at least for me? Because I promise you, when you raise it for yourself, you're going to raise the thoughts for everyone else. We are in thought patterns that surround us. We don't have any trouble thinking about radio waves that are all around us, and TV and microwaves and air traffic control and police going all around us right now. We don't have any problem with that, but when it comes to us, you, me, the person down the street, we think, are we really in tune with those thoughts? Yeah, we really are. This is a thought-evolved universe. And what we think about, we do bring about. And I'm not talking about this for judgment or guilt or to lay any of that on you. I'm trying to tell you this morning that you're a powerful creator and that your lives hinge on defining moments. And a defining moment for you today may mean that you are realizing that you are the author of your life. And that when you do that, connected with principles, when you interpose the principles that we teach and what Christ Jesus taught, and what the Ascended Masters taught, and what Buddha taught, and what Krishna taught, and what Gibran taught, and what Emerson taught. Let's go down the line of all what we call the wise guys. They all said the same thing. You love. You love abundantly and extravagantly. You forgive unconditionally. And you walk forth in newness of life. That was the Christ Jesus message. And that was the message of all the other wise people that I just talked about. And then we had the confluence of the wonderful feminine energy, what I call the divine feminine, in the middle of the last century. Look at H. Emily Cady, look at Melinda Kramer, look at the great pioneers of New Thought who advanced the feminine ideal, who were able to bring about a theology, and I don't really like that word, but a system of thought that comprised both the male and the female that are in all of us. They moved us along. And you today are sitting here, and I'm standing here basically on the shoulders of the giants that preceded us. Those who said, your thoughts create your world, the moments that you live are gifts, and you get to choose. I'm just trying to concentrate more on that space between what happens here and what happens here. And also knowing that what happens here can also influence what happens here. It's like this. It's the eternal sign. It's the upside down 8, I call it. There's a name for it and I can't think of it right now. But it is nothing more than energy. You're always dealing with a thought, and a thought can be changed. So if it's not working for you, if your life is not working for you this morning, if your moments are not what you want them to be, then I challenge you and myself and anyone who's listening to accept the fact that you may have made a choice that you don't like in your life and it has produced results. Forgive it quickly and walk forward in newness of life. We're being told that in every new thought idea we read. They may say it differently. They may have a different way of expressing it. But they talk about this defining moment, this defining idea about coming to the knowledge of the truth of your being. What do you think the truth of your being is this morning? Do you believe it best? Do you know that you are love incarnate? Do you know that you are God's stuff? And you know that you've been given this thing called life to go forth in a canvas type thing. And you choose the paints and the colors. And in large part, you weave your destiny for good or ill. This morning, I want to remind you that there are going to be things in the journey, defining moments, that can hurt. No, beyond that, they can break your heart. When I say that, I want you to know I understand. I'm not some minister that hands out verbal flowers and spray paints some metaphysical perfume and tells a cute story about myself, and you walk out the door and I see you next week. I care. I really do understand. I know those moments at 3 o'clock in the morning that I'm talking about when you're wondering what you're going to do and how you're going to do it, how you're going to face it, and what you're going to become. And sometimes it's more than one idea or thing you're thinking about. It's a whole bunch of them. And they seem to attack you at your weakest, your most vulnerable. You see your relatives say something, and it reminds you of something they said maybe years ago, and you've wondered about that inside yourself. And maybe I am what they say. Maybe I'm not as good. Maybe I'm going to face it. The maybes, the what ifs come at that time. Heartbreak, the things that we've lost, the people that we've lost, the dear pets we've lost, the situations we've lost. All of that can come is what I call an ego storm. And you know the best way to break up an ego storm, I found for me, when that happens, is to remember something. Remember that the truth of being resides in me, even if I can't feel it or express it right at this moment. Somebody said, Jay, you're either lying or calling it by faith. I'm calling it by faith. Sometimes you have to tell yourself visual lies. Think about visualization. Visualize things that you don't see out here right now, but that you want to see. And you have to see them first in here to get them out there. When those things happen that want to you feel they've come to bring to you, that is a time you must remember all the more who you really are. You stand up on the inside even if you can't stand up on the outside. You take control of the only thing that you have control over, your mind. And you remember that you could choose again in favor of the love that made you and the love that you are. If you knew who walked beside you every minute of the day, fear would be impossible for you. That's a quote from the Course in Miracles. I love it because it tells the truth. It also says, walk ye in glory with your head held high and fear no evil. Those are words of truth that buttress the ailing soul, that take those defining moments and help you see them in a different way. You can't change the moments necessarily that were antecedents to this, but you can use your gift of choice and the love within you to leaven those moments to be a blessing to you in some way you may not now understand. Somebody is going to cross your path after you do this that's going to need what you have developed in this practice I'm talking about. We are interconnected. We truly are brothers and sisters. You know, there's not so much difference between you and me when you think about it. You and the guy down the street, the policeman on the beat, it doesn't matter. We're all part of the oneness of the human family, and oh, don't we act like we can do without each other so much. We push people away in ways that I can't even imagine how we come to do that. We act like, well, I'd never do that. I wouldn't wear my hair like that. I wouldn't dress like that. I wouldn't listen to music like that. I wouldn't eat food like that. All that gives us a sense of identity and usually superiority, and it buttresses an alien self-image. It alienates the person over here. We're not going to be able to have any meaningful contact with them. We're going to have a wall of judgment separating us and them. Is that really how we want to live? I don't think any of you do that. Some may be watching that do it. Maybe you've done it sometimes. I know maybe I have sometimes. There's some things that I don't understand. You know what it is for me? I don't understand people that act in unloving ways. But then again, I do, because I've been hurt. And I understand that hurt people. Ailing people have not understood the power that they have in them. They've allowed the situations and the defining moments of their life to give them an identity, and oh, they hold on to that identity, whether it works or not. Somebody becomes a president, a premier of a country, and says, wow, I got a lot of power. I can push some folks into submission, and I think I'm going to do it. We're seeing that right now. Love didn't make that decision. The ego, the me, the mine, the us, the them, the thoughts of separation did that. And on this man's defining moment of choice, he decided that he would exercise his weakness as a display of physical strength, thinking that the outside was more important than the inside. It may look that way, but it really never is. These things that are unloving, they never really last. They always fall. And there's always untold misery and heartache behind it. And in our defining moments when we choose against love and against ourselves, we see behind us trails of tears. We get to create our lives. That's the neat thing about this. But we've got to give up our opinions and our cherished notions. And at a moment that defines you, you say, I'm walking away from that no longer serves me. And I don't want to be like the thing I'm judging. So I'm going to stand up and declare the newness of life that Christ Jesus said, walk ye in newness of life. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. These are literal words. I don't know why the fundamentalist folks get upset with unity and new thoughts. I'm quoting words right out of the Master's mouth. I have come that you might have life and have it abundantly. If you believe, you can say to this mountain, move, and it will be cast into the sea. What mountains in your life do you have right now? What defining moment have you hung your hat on that's hurt? I'm inviting you to take back your power this morning, to believe the best about who you are, to know that you may have made a mistake, but the mistake doesn't define you. You may be worried. There's an old Latin word for worry. It's reargen. It means to really strangle the life out of it. How many people really enjoy that? I know one that did. My grandmother loved to worry. She made some of the best food I ever ate. She gave me some of the sweetest love that everybody has a grandmother that's probably done that, or most of us have, that we remember a figure like that. But oh, could she worry. And she worried well. I loved her so much. And when I really got excited is when she asked me one day, she said, there's a book called The Prayer Way to Health, Wealth, and Happiness by Lowell Fillmore. I just read about it in the book. Is that what you're talking about? And I said, oh, hey, yeah, that's it. And I gave it to her, and I like to think that maybe some of these ideas rubbed off on her. I don't know, she seemed a little bit calmer afterwards. She was a very loving woman, but a very fearful one. I don't want to appeal to your fear. I don't want to tell you that if you don't do something, the eternal, omnipotent God is going to be angry with you. I'm not a, quote, preacher. I hope that I am a deliverer of the truth. And I hope that through my words, your moments define you as who you really are in the truth of your being. This morning, I invite you to take all these things you think comprise you, the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent, the high, the low, all of it, and become acquainted with it. And don't run from it. And if you need to grieve, grieve. If you want to laugh, laugh. Be present with the Spirit inside you. Listen to the innate, intuitive wisdom that is inside you now. Our intuition does not guide us astray. That is G-U-T, gut truth, God, utter truth. Your intuition. Walk ye in glory with your head held high and fear no evil. And remember, your part, if you can't do anything physically about something, you're challenged to change your mind. Call on the best inside you. I'm calling on the best inside you. I'm seeing the best inside you and me. And I know that it comes forth and it's done right now. That's what Christ Jesus did to everyone who came across his path. He saw the face of God in every person he ever met. And in my imperfect way, as a minister, I do the same thing. Some folks it's easier than others, I admit. Sometimes I have a more difficult time. But every one of you carry the same spirit. Christ's spirit. The wonderful energy, the elan vital, the elixir, the fountainhead of life. That energy, use it to your best advantage and have a moment that defines you as you truly are. Capable, well, able, strong, peaceful, and most of all loving. Grab that in this defining moment and watch your life change in all the places you'll go. God bless each and every one.
In the midst of his children, the Lord said he would be. It doesn't take very many, it can be just 2 or 3, and I feel that same sweet spirit that I felt oft times before. Surely the presence is in the Lord. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel His mighty power and His great wings. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
And now we come to the time in our service where it's our privilege to give back. And I would like to take just a moment to tell you all and those that are viewing online, look at us here. Look at us coming back again. Our church is beginning to fill up, and I love it. It's part of the joy and wonder of ministry and of all my friends and family here. And I want you to know that it does cost for us to do this, but oh, how worth it is. We have so many offerings online, as you know, who are tuning in, pathlighters that are part of us. And you know that here, we are offering more online than most churches are right now, and I'm kind of happy about that. And it's only going to help us build even more as we move into more normalcy. So I challenge each of you, myself, and those watching, not only to give your best gift, but to add a 10% extra just for the blessing. There's always a blessing when you give a little more than you thought you would. It comes back to you. Maybe not necessarily the same way you gave, but it comes back to you because you can't outgive God, you can't outgive the universe. Have you ever heard, the Lord loveth a cheerful giver? Again, I'm quoting the words. I believe them. I know they're true. I've seen them work. I ask you, give your best gift this morning. We're getting on our feet. Things are starting to move. I love it. I love you all. And I know that you love this church. And when you come, those who are watching online, you'll know this is the house that love built. You'll feel it. I'm looking out at so many loving faces right now. So if you're able, I heartily invite you to join us. Could I have someone come forward with a thank you?
Freely, freely I have received. Freely, freely I give. Divine love through me, this is all that I am. All that I give and receive.
Together we say, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I send it forth with my blessings and my love. So it is.
Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time?
Ladies and gentlemen, hands together and join hands as we're comfortable in doing so.
Yeah. Easter egg.
Together, we say, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God follows us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us, wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Yeah.
Very brave.
Gotta be brave.
Thank you, Thom.
Ah, yes.
Where you been hiding?
Oh, just here and there.
Yeah.
About a boot or a booch, as they say.
A booth.
A booch.
Yeah.
Here and there. Here.
Maybe you'll come back. You can
I'm on my way.
Yeah. You live around here?
I'm in Springway.
Oh, that's not too close.
Not too, well, I'm not too far either.
Yeah, right in the middle. Not too far. No, it's not fun.
Get better every day.
I'm fine. Back before pre-COVID, we tried to keep from your brain cells really hard.
Well, yesterday. No, I don't. Yesterday, always want to go outside for a while. It has nothing to do. You're gonna do all that.
Mainly help closing
He wants me to get his balls he throws against the side of his own house. I'm not doing that.
Daylight savings, I think so many of us just get kind
They're
of.
lost without.
I could be.
So he's learning.
Thank you.
It's always food on the way. Right before you
Hi, this is Thom. On behalf of everyone here at Unity of Boerne, we want to thank you for joining us today. And those of you who are of a mind know that you are welcome here in the sanctuary with us any Sunday you choose at 11 a.m. And we hope to be with you all in spirit between now and the next opportunity for us to gather together. And so, from the Unity of Boerne to all of you, have a wonderful week, and thank you. Thank you again for being you, being a child of God that you are.